Good morning and welcome to The Big Show TV. It is a Tuesday, which means it's Therapy Tuesday with Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning, Jerry.
Why is it? There's something about you, You're a psychologist and all that, but once we look at you only, right?
We're
we feel
cured.
better, yes. Are all psychologists like that? They have that aura about them?
Well, in the past, right, because everybody has this concept of Sigmund Freud, and it's all old English men. so when I first started, it was, are you sure you're a psychologist? How come you look so young? I mean, when I first started out, not now, but then...
You're still young. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
But now people take you seriously.
Yes, definitely. A lot more. But yeah, it took quite a while for Singapore to kind of shift their mindset that it's not old men and old women that can be psychologists.
Okay. So, Shaun, Tuesdays, when you prepare my coffee,
Yes.
don't have to put vodka anymore.
Okay. So the normal one, not
yes,
the
just
special service.
But you know
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, yes.
still special
Tuesday,
service.
no,
Yes.
okay.
But you know the secret behind Jerry, right? Because every time she comes on, she's got that smile, and her smile goes all the way through to her eyes. And it just brightens up your
She
morning.
lights up. You light up my life.
She literally just brightens up the morning. That's what
You
I
are
think.
just too sweet.
Thank you for being our sunshine every Tuesday.
Aww. Yeah. And Angel, thank you for being the human in all of us.
my
The heart
goodness.
in all
That
of
just
us.
She's
means
not the only one.
that
huh?
just means
she's
I
the only
cry way too
yes,
much.
Yes, correct. She's the
Emotional
only one
one,
who's
okay,
cried, you see,
crying.
that's why.
Twice.
The rest of us have no
don't be
feelings.
Jealous,
I'm
okay?
very jealous.
Yeah. They'll try and break it out for you at some point.
But is holding back your emotions a good thing or not? Because sometimes I feel like it's a good thing,
I mean, to suppress it is not good, right?
Yeah.
But when you emote appropriately, like what Angel showed us, I think then it helps us to be, a little bit more genuine to ourselves.
Right.
I think among males in Singapore, the one thing that we have to realize is it's okay to cry.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
if you want to
A
cry.
lot of us keep it bottled in, and I've learnt through the years that if I want to cry, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel better.
It's okay to cry, but it's okay to cry at what makes you cry. Like, sad things don't really make me cry, but if I watch Transformers, I cry.
That's just because it's a really bad movie.
No, it's so, I mean, like, it's teamwork makes the dream work. I cry at the
which
inspiration
part?
part.
At which part?
When all the army works together to, destroy the
So when they
Decepticons.
come together and
Yeah, the
unite.
teamwork.
And,
I'm a sucker for teamwork.
But we teamwork every day. How come you're not crying?
I
you
cry
should be
every
in
morning on
tears.
the way to work. I cry when I see my alarm clock. 5 o'clock.
But sometimes for people who cry so much, right, it means they're sad all the time. It means their hearts are breaking, and that's not good for the health.
Why would
I don't know.
Some people
This
cry
is
all
why
the time.
he's not a therapist.
No, it depends. For some people, it's a valve. It's a vent.
Easier to cry than others.
It helps get those emotions out of you so you can carry on.
But you can cry yourself to death.
Physically.
That's depression. That would be depression.
depression.
That would
That's
be
different.
depression.
For some people, they start crying, they cannot stop.
where I go, that's the 5%. That's the 95% of Glenn that I don't believe anymore.
95 leh. Wow.
95% of you, she doesn't believe in.
But you know what they say about boys, right? There's this saying that boys cry bullets because the boys are not taught. Well, the boys are always told not to cry because it's not a boy thing.
Yeah.
And they say those boys that are taught not to cry end up being violent.
Oh.
That's
Because
why
it's all
boys
kept-
cry bullets because it's all
Not
kept.
all of them. Lah.
Not
Not all, but
But
it's
not all.
a stereotype
Yes,
saying.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a stereotypical
Yeah.
We
saying.
live
But
in a world
that's
of
the
stereotypes.
suppressed emotions, right? It has to come out some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say guard your heart. It's very important.
True.
Because,
Yeah, that is true.
if you become too weak, then it's not good for you. If you're a bit too strong, it's not good as
Yeah.
well. There needs to be that balance.
But I do want to state here, and I think Jerry will agree with me on this, crying is not a sign of weakness.
No, it's not. It is not. Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
And we have
It
to
takes
realize that.
Cry. about lah.
Crying
It
is,
takes a lot of courage actually to emote and cry. Yeah.
Yeah.
crying is not a sign of weakness,
No.
but it will lead to weakness.
No,
No,
no. When
never.
was the last time you cried, Glenn?
1924.
He wasn't even born.
Even when people die, I control. No.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. No.
Okay, anyway.
Anyway,
I'm one of those. Once I start crying, I'll keep on crying. So you cannot.
Okay. So today,
Peace.
Jerry, I asked you if we could talk about this because I find it interesting. The imposter syndrome.
Yep.
This is what? When people doubt themselves? Is that what it is?
Part of it is self-doubt, but there's definitely more than that. But what sparked your interest? I was very excited to get on today to ask you.
The game Among Us.
No, it's not. It's not the game.
Oh, not this one. Okay,
Okay.
I better put this picture down. Then.
It's not that. It's what sparked my interest in this was an article I read, but also I came across someone who is really good at their job, but had to make a presentation, didn't do it well, and suddenly she feels that she's not who she thought she was. She's a fake.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And is that imposter syndrome?
She felt she didn't do it well.
Yes.
Or she
Even though
didn't do it.
even though people told her she was okay, she
Yeah.
felt she didn't do it well, and now
Yeah.
she feels, oh damn it, I'm a fake.
What?
Is that imposter syndrome?
I mean, if we don't have any other words to describe it, because imposter syndrome is not a clinical diagnosis. So
Okay.
it tends to be used very loosely, but it is a phenomenon actually that you start to doubt yourself, even though you've done very well. And this is what I realized, that these people with imposter syndrome are actually very intelligent. They have actually done very, very well, but they don't think that they do anything well.
You see, can you imagine?
That's an imposter
I
syndrome.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. To me, an imposter syndrome is someone not being themselves.
Yes. Like
That's to me, that's my layperson.
I'm Glenn, but I tell everyone I'm George Clooney.
No,
That's the.
Oh,
That's
you think-
delusion.
That's
no,
illusion.
not
Delusion.
imposter. Not that kind of imposter.
Yeah, it's different.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's different, and not the Among Us, like
Also
what
different.
Sean put on.
I don't know that
Sure.
reference. I don't know that Among
It's
Us
for the
reference.
young people. watch.
So
okay,
FD is right. That example that he gave, that's imposter
Yes.
syndrome.
Yes.
So you
they
feel like you're an
a
imposter
fraud.
of yourself. Is that what it is?
They feel like they are. There are a few, and we can go into that later. But generally, they feel like they are not doing well in whatever that they need to do. It
They're
could
not
be in
worthy of their job.
profession. It could be in profession. So it could be in their profession. It could be, in their roles, different roles that they have to play. And they feel that it's not good. It's just not right. Or something is wrong, that they are a fake. Or if they get rewarded or they get affirmation, they feel I'm not deserving.
They
It's
don't
just
deserve it.
lucky. Nothing to do with me.
Wow.
Oh.
Companies can save a lot of money if they have people with this condition.
Oh dear, Glenn.
And pay them a lot less, right?
Things.
Yeah. It's like just work a bit harder. But actually, wow, very good already.
We're getting all we want, but you don't think you're giving it.
Okay. Don't laugh at people like that. This is a condition. Come on, guys. Okay.
You just did. Oh my
Right?
god.
Yeah, he just started it.
He catches himself. That's the good thing.
So Jerry, who are the typical individuals that are vulnerable to the imposter syndrome?
Okay, so in the study, and there's not like a huge number of studies, right? But it came, in the 1970s. So there are 5 different personalities, and one is the perfectionist, the superwoman, the superman, natural genius, the soloist, and the expert. So I didn't come up with that. It was the researcher, Dr. Clance. She came up with it. Yeah. So the perfectionist is they need to meet at least 99%. Like they have to be there, they have to score. If not, they feel like a failure. And I think this is a case I've brought up before. So one of these girls, really amazing, very, very high, achiever. And over a weekend, I received an email, I received call, and she wanted to kill herself in university. So she was in university, or she still is in university. So all the scramble and everything, make sure that she's okay. And then when I finally saw her, you know what happened? She actually scored 94 in a quiz.
Oh, man.
And that's not good enough for her. That's not good enough. And she felt, so crushed.
Okay, hold on, Jerry. We're going for a traffic break. We're back on the Big Show TV with Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. She joins us every Tuesday morning at this time. Now, Jerry, you're talking about a girl who wanted to commit suicide because she scored 94 in a quiz.
Yeah, perfectionist, right? I must score at least, 90, 99, if not 100%. Or I need to score as high as possible. So they set their standards really, really high for themselves. And many of them that I do see do have this perfectionistic trait.
Okay, Jerry, Dr. Jerry, do parents have any part to play in this?
Sometimes they do, but when they would tell you no, it's just from them. They want to be the best. They want to score.
But I mean, I see so many of these, like parents that are always like 94 is not good enough.
Yeah.
98 is not good enough. You
Tiger
read it in the
moms.
papers, the tiger moms and dads or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
So I can't help but feel a lot of it is pressure from the parents and society, and mostly parents because that's who you spend most of your time with, right?
So they do kind of, put pressure on them, but typically when they catch themselves and when they come for therapy, they don't anymore. So the feeling is internalized, which then makes it harder for us, to work with them. Yeah. If it's external and someone is scolding you, right, you can just lift off, whoever that person is. But then when, whatever thought and belief is internalized, that makes it definitely more difficult. And we're talking about these people carrying the weight with them in any situation. Yeah, tough.
Jerry, we've got a comment from Chris Henson who says that whole expression "fake it till you make it." Does that affect?
No,
That's the opposite one.
Is that the opposite, or does that?
no. Well, to me, that statement is try and try again. Keep trying. It's slightly different from an imposter syndrome where they have done so well.
Yeah.
Yet they don't believe in their achievement.
Yeah, you already make it, but you feel fake.
Yeah.
Because there's an element
So
of
it's the other
self-doubt
way.
and self-deprecation there.
Made it, but feel fake. Okay.
Because when I mentioned the person I was talking about, that person now, when that person thinks about doing presentations or having to speak to large groups of people, now she just breaks down.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Completely breaks down and can't handle it.
But she's still doing it.
No choice.
Public
It's
speaking
the
is
job.
one of the hardest things
It's
in
the
the
job,
world
right?
to do.
And even though many people feel she's really good at it, she
Doesn't think so.
doesn't think so
Okay.
because of that one
So
situation.
it could
Overcritical
be-
then. Overcritical of
It could-
yourself.
It could be overcritical, but if we look at the categories, right? I'm just looking at that. Then there's this category called natural genius. So they're really good at many things, right? They're very good at whatever that they're doing, and then it cannot be a breeze all the time. So sometimes when they hit something that they need to put in a bit more effort into, they start to feel that they are a fraud or they are fake, because they tell themselves it cannot be so difficult, so all this time all my accomplishment is fake, because now I'm facing a challenge, and this challenge tells me that I'm no good.
So for their own well-being, don't you think these people should do something else then? I mean,
This person,
for your friend's case, is she
yeah.
a friend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe she should do something else. Maybe as good as she is doing this, but if she's constantly feeling like she's not good enough, it means she's not happy, right? So either seek therapy or
Change
maybe do
jobs.
something else.
Yeah,
right?
because I feel you need to deal with the condition rather than change the environment.
Exactly. So it's that self-doubt, is the insecurity, and then we need to work with it rather than changing job, because the next job she goes into, she will probably feel similarly, and it will be transposed onto something else.
And this person is what, a motivational speaker or
No, not a motivational.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, because then it would be pretty hopeless. I
Weird,
want time to
right?
retire already.
Then it'll really be a fake thing.
Yeah,
you know?
it would be.
You know what I mean?
It would be, but it's not. It's
But
not.
I don't seem to be able to understand, like, it starts at any age, right? I'm guessing it could start in primary school, it could start in secondary school and stuff like that. But if in primary school, say you get 98 out of 100, and then you still don't think you're good enough, and then you move on to the best school in Singapore, and then at the O levels you get, almost the best scores, like almost perfection, and then you move on to the best university. Don't these pieces of paper already tell you that you're really, really good at what you do?
You've done your homework, so that's the category we call the experts, right? Because they would accumulate all the different certifications, different even awards, everything to improve themselves, but they feel that they are not good enough. So I had one of a coach actually, and she came here for therapy, and she has like 2-3 master's degrees, and she still feels she can't perform.
Wow.
She still feels that she feels that she's not good enough, she can't do it, and she's a brilliant painter. Yet she would say, no, I need to improve my brush skills. I need to improve, I need to learn a little bit more about the different materials. She was trying to do psychology. I mean, she did psychology, and she was trying to do another aspect of it, something very specific. But she would not go to work because she just feels that she's not good enough, that she needs to accumulate more pieces of paper.
So is this told to a child? I feel like these kids or people have been told at very, very young that they weren't good enough. Is that a possibility?
It is a possibility. It definitely is. For this lady, she had post-traumatic stress disorder from a very dysfunctional family. So in that environment, she was just beaten down. She was sexually abused. So definitely her own self-worth was very low.
Could one of the causes of this be and we've been doing this for generations now here in Singapore, this chasing of excellence? Could this be one of the causes for this imposter syndrome? Because we're always chasing excellence.
We should continue to improve. It is part of the human evolution. We need to continue to, in order to continue to survive, we need to continue to evolve. So that is required. But when it stops us, just like this lady, right, she's so brilliant, and it stops her from doing what she can do and do more good in the world, then that's why she knows that there is something wrong.
I think also what doesn't help is our culture of comparison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because when we grew up from a young age, we are always compared to with like our cousins, our classmates, and everything like
Our
that.
neighbor's kid.
Yeah, and then
That's why I'm saying you don't have to know all your neighbors.
after
Back to the neighbors again.
after a while, we start comparing ourselves with the people that we work with people our own age, or even our idols and stuff like that. And that gives you a lot of like imposter syndrome as well. You feel like, oh no, I'm never gonna be as good as that person. I'm never gonna be as good as what I
don't
can
look
be,
like
and I can be
her.
better. I
Yeah.
can be better, and then you put yourself in this self-doubt, insecurity cycle.
So you've spoken about another issue, and true, that might be one major part, but for the imposter syndrome, they look at very specific areas, so it becomes untrue. So for another category, the Superman, Superwomen, they are very well-rounded. They do everything. They juggle everything. And they do their work, they do their parenting, they do, all the different roles, they do it to perfection. However, when they feel tired, or when they feel that they slip up anywhere, then they look outwards and they say, how come the other person can do and I cannot do? And it can be a very specific area. They might miss picking the child up at a certain timing. And they beat themselves up over it. And generally, I see this with mothers, because they try to juggle so many different roles, and then they turn to the next person and they say, how come the other mother can do it, or the other woman can be a working mom, be have everything all together, and I cannot. And it could be as a small slip up.
Jerry, Damien has brought up something other than abuse. You know how parents chase the almighty dollar these days? They're out working all the time. Kids are left with helpers. The kid tries to overachieve to get the attention of the parent. It doesn't work, so they keep trying to overachieve. Can that lead to an imposter syndrome? Parental neglect?
Wow, it is possible. You see, this topic is so big, right? And it's not a clinical issue that, a lot of variables, a lot of contributing factors can contribute to why they have this issue. It's not just one thing. So keep those comments flowing.
I just have a question, like further to what Shaun mentioned earlier about trying to compare yourself to someone else, or trying to be more like your idol and not feeling that you look good enough. I have to say a disclaimer. I'm not against plastic surgery or aesthetic work, but does that come into play when people get a lot of plastic surgery done to look like their idols or look like someone else?
I think that would be the BDD we're talking about, the image
dysmorphia.
issue. Yeah.
So not
Yes.
imposter syndrome.
Not so much of this
Okay.
imposter syndrome. Yeah.
Okay.
So the imposter syndrome is really, about work, about roles, about, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing well enough.
So it's not so much about looks. It's
not
more
so much about looks.
doing. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So what can we do as members of a family if we see someone like this?
Because they don't look as if they are in trouble. They don't look like they are. They look like they are trying, and they are doing a lot. Okay, but when they start saying, I'm no good, or they start discounting. How do they discount? Let me see. You tell them, oh, you've done so well, and they go, oh, I'm just lucky. That's all. Right? Or you ask them, can I help you with anything? So one last category is the soloist, right? They want to do everything on their own. And if they need to ask for help, they are a failure. Okay, so when you realize that you offer help and they reject you, they say, oh, you think I cannot do it, is it? And then, maybe what we need to do is to then check in with them and say, hey, what's going on there?
1 second, Jerry.
We're back on The Big Show with Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room, and today we're talking about the imposter syndrome.
We're talking about people at work, Jerry, with the imposter syndrome. But let me ask you, can parents suffer from this as well?
Yes, yes. So earlier I said, right, these are the supermen and superwomen
Yeah.
where they keep pushing themselves to do more, more things, trying to deal with all the different roles. So parents can. And if we look at parents, they're the sandwich generation, we call it, right? Because they look after their children, they have to look after the parents. So they ask the sandwich generation that have to juggle many different things, and then at work, and by the time they are parents, they would be at a certain level at the workplace, so they have maybe a team to look after, also a boss to answer to, so they try to deliver as much as possible in all the different areas, and sometimes they beat themselves up. They are very harsh to themselves.
Yeah.
FD, you're a sandwich.
I'm a sandwich.
You're a sandwich, yeah.
I'm a
He's a
sandwich.
sandwich.
And I can't imagine how hard it is. Or I can imagine how hard it is actually, doing this juggling act.
It's not easy.
Well,
it's a
not easy.
24/7.
Well, I think the way I got around it was my wife and I worked as a team. I'm a person who finds it very hard to say no. So it is Michelle who steps in and goes, "You're not going to do that. You can't.
disciplinarian.
It's too much. Stop. Back off."
Right.
And that's the only way I managed to rein myself in.
Right.
Because if it was left to me, I'd be all over the
Oh,
place.
she was telling you those
She's the
things.
one that
I
tells
thought
me.
she was telling the kids
No,
that.
she's telling me. So she
Right.
helps to rein me
you
in.
in.
Yes,
And
yes.
this is where the husband-wife partnership really works.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
If you can take that from someone,
Yeah.
from your partner going, no,
Yeah.
rein yourself.
That's important, being able to take that from
Yeah.
someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good balance.
Yeah, but that's being a partner, you see. But if, let's say, you start to have self-doubts or you have insecurities, right? That would definitely impede this collaboration because you doubt yourself. You see?
So what if you have a partner like that? What if you have a partner that does so brilliantly at everything that they do, but still doesn't think they do good? They do well enough.
then we probably would need some therapy.
To the therapy room
No,
you
but
go.
are there certain things that people can do in the immediate,
Well, okay. I actually have this part that I think last year I spoke about, but I thought I wanted to bring it in today, right? The difference between self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-worth.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of times we confuse everything, but thankfully I had a mentor that was trying to teach us all these, and it's still very difficult to try and distinguish these three. So self-confidence is the confidence in our abilities, right? And many of these people can have very high self-confidence. I know I can do all these. Right? So I know I can get the 100%. I know I can accomplish, whatever I set my heart to because I have the ability. Okay. However, when they look at themselves, so that's what you were talking about. Can the parents affect us? Can comparing affect us? Is when we look at ourselves and how we see ourselves, our perception of self. What we believe of ourselves. Okay, so what we think of ourselves and what we believe, right? So we look at ourselves. So these people with imposter syndrome, they look at themselves and say, I'm not that great. I'm just like that. I'm not good enough. So their self-esteem can be low. So someone can have high self-confidence but low self-esteem.
Wow.
Yeah, and then that affects our self-worth. Is how we value ourselves. And many times these people go, oh, I'm nothing. Oh, I'm just lucky. Oh, everything gets a bit, discounted and pushed away. So, if we realize that, then it's not about telling the partner or telling your child to do more, practice more. Okay, so I'm going into how do we help them. Is more having them understand that they are valued, that how they need to perceive themselves, how they should look at themselves, and how we see them.
So it seems that from what you said, everything starts with self-worth, because everything else is backwards. If you don't have self-confidence or self-esteem, more often than not, you don't have self-worth. But if you build on someone's self-worth, then hopefully everything else can build on top of that, the confidence and the esteem and everything else.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, there's no one way to do it, but that is definitely, one of the ways to do it. And parents can tell their children how valuable they are, how, we treasure them. I think I had one of the girls come to me and, she was just being put down, and every relationship that she got into was an abusive relationship. And she goes, what's wrong with me? Because all these men are just sexually abusing me, emotionally abusing me. And this young, pretty girl, right? And I, what happened? I think something happened at home. So what I simply just told her that she is a treasure, that she is precious. And at that, she just broke down. She was just sobbing. She says, I've never heard that before. It's so heartbreaking, right? It's like, how can someone not know that
How can no one tell someone that?
Well, you see,
at some point,
that whole thing of no self-worth, I think personally is probably one of the most destructive feelings you can have. When I was very much younger, I went through a very mild time like that, and it led to drink. It led to all kinds of things, because I just felt, I'm 20 something, and I have not amounted to anything, and I'm never going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying, I feel that the most important thing that parents or anyone can do with someone else is tell them how worthy they are.
Yes.
I think it starts with that, because once you know from the inside, because self-confidence and self-esteem is so hard to build from someone externally, right?
Yeah.
But as long as you keep being told, I mean, not overly so until you become so arrogant about it, but, at least let your children know that they are worth themselves, they're worth everything they are.
Yeah. I say it doesn't matter. Just make sure that your kids know that they are the best. Let them grow up a bit overconfident. It's still better for their mental well-being.
I mean, overconfidence definitely better than not having self-confidence. That's for sure.
Because once you have, it's all about confidence. Life is about confidence, right? If you're not confident, it's very hard to survive. So I'm just speaking to parents who are so into modesty. They want their kids to just be humble all the time.
But I think that there needs to be a balance as well, though. I mean,
when they go for catechism classes in church, they'll be taught, humility and all that. But at home, just tell them they are the best. Nobody else comes close to them.
Is that a good thing to do, Jerry?
Everybody else is lower than them.
Oh no, that's a terrible thing to say.
No, just
You're just poking fun.
Dear children, do not follow Uncle Glenn.
No, don't listen to anything he says. It's all rubbish.
You do know that my kids listen.
That's why she's panicking now.
Especially don't listen to him. We should mute him.
Your kids are going to be calling Glenn, going, Glenn, can I sit on your couch, please? I need to talk to you.
Sean, turn his mic off.
you kids are the best. Remember that. Number one.
But that whole building, I mean, you've also got to be very careful, right? Especially with children and building their confidence, because that can lead to arrogance.
That's what he's saying. He's saying it doesn't matter. More arrogant is better than not.
No.
Then
We're gonna have more problems or other sort of problems.
Yeah.
Not good. Yeah. Yep.
But
yes, it's so difficult, to hear compliments from parents, I suppose, especially Asian parents.
It's not in our
you know,
DNA.
No, but it's nice that you appeal to them, and I'm going to repeat that appeal to just tell your children how amazing they are.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to overly say it. It's not
No.
about every minute saying you're beautiful, you're the best, you're this
No.
and that. But I mean, there's a time that you scold them, and then there's a time that you say you are an amazing person and you can be whoever you want to be.
But also, don't we have to recognize their shortcomings and faults and say that's okay?
Yeah, that's why we continue to improve ourselves and evolve. So we need to have enough of self-worth to say and recognize that we have good traits and good strengths, but we also have a balance to say, okay, so what else can I improve on? So there needs to be that balance.
And imparting lessons about self-worth needs to come from someone who already has self-worth, right? So the parents themselves also need to work on their own self-worth.
I see where this is going.
It's true.
But I mean, yeah, you can only tell someone if you're that person, right? Otherwise, you're an imposter yourself.
Yeah.
In a different
Yes.
sort of way.
In a different sort of way, yes. So yes, parents need to be kind to themselves. So for those that feel that they have the imposter syndrome, also be kind to yourself. There's what point is there? What value add? To be so harsh to yourself, it doesn't value add.
But don't you agree, Jerry, that we are all wired differently?
Okay. And what are you thinking about?
No, because we've been talking about maybe it's the parents. The reason for a child being a certain way is because of how they were brought up. What they were told growing up. But do you agree that some people are just wired differently? No matter what you tell them,
No matter
they're
the
not going to
upbringing.
turn out the way you want them to.
Oh, we don't impose our expectations on them. I think that's very, very important. So a lot of times parents feel that they have to mold a person. No, we guide them,
Yeah.
and they are their own people. They
Right.
are their own person. Yeah, and it's nice to see what they blossom into, as long as they're not bad people.
Yeah, I think a lot of parents also try to live their lives
Lives through their
vicariously
kids.
through their children.
Oh no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
But I get
Yeah.
what Glenn is saying. I mean, you can give the child or the person all the tools that they need, and yet they still turn out not the way you thought they would.
Sure. Yes, there are some that, because of one issue or another, turn out differently from what we hope. Yeah. But as long as we've done our best.
Yeah. Yeah, some parents, when they're disappointed, they'll go like, "Are you sure you're my child?"
I think I should have just
Never
left you
say
by
that.
the drain.
No, you never. You never.
No. If
say that.
if I were the kid, I just turn around and go like, "You should know." Are you sure I'm your kid?
Where
You
were
should know.
you when you had me? No, but there are parents that have said that. But I don't think. I think if you say it in a certain way and the kid knows you're joking, there are certain parents. I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard my parents say to one of us siblings that, "Yeah, I think you were adopted." And things like that. But I think that's fine.
Oh,
It
we
doesn't-
picked you out of the trash can.
But I
There
think
you
no.
go.
But
Yeah,
I think
that
I
as
think it
well.
also depends on what age you
And
say
what the-
that
yeah,
is.
of course, of course.
Because kids, you remember that what you tell your children,
Yeah.
they live with the rest of their lives.
Yeah, you don't tell a 2 or 3-year-old that, but you can tell like a 21-year-old that. You know what I mean? It depends on the age. You don't bring the child up saying that.
Sorry,
Morning,
don't say it, I don't say it.
Julian.
Morning.
Morning, guys. Morning.
Good morning, Julian. We're just
Morning,
fighting.
Hi, Jerry.
No, we're not fighting. We're not
Julian.
fighting.
We're having a debate about children.
About children, yeah. So Jerry, in conclusion, what last words do you have for people who feel they may be suffering from imposter or have the imposter syndrome condition, or people who know someone in the family who has the condition? What do you say to them?
So picking on the be kind to yourself, right? So from Ralph Waldo Emerson, he says, "You cannot do a kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late."
Cannot do
So if you
kindness.
do it today, do it now.
Well done. Nice stuff.
Sheila, you are the one who brought up this imposter syndrome.
Hey.
We've been talking about it for 40 minutes.
No, but hey, there are a lot of people out there who suffer from it. It was so big, it was actually carried in our local newspapers.
Yeah. Yeah.
The condition is so serious.
But just in terms of work, or what? That example that you brought up.
It was
Mostly.
mostly work. It was mostly work. The article was mostly for people at work, not so much children. But yeah.
Everyone with imposter syndrome or think he or she has imposter syndrome, go and see Dr. Geraldine Tan at the therapy room.
And remember, you are good enough.
Yes.
So
All
true.
of you are good enough.
Okay.
And I want to tell all of you that you are precious.
Thank you, Jerry.
Jerry.
Jerry, I have a few problems I need to talk to you about.
You have
Glenn,
One of these, I'll give you a call.
You have
Glenn,
more
just
than
a
a
few
few
you are
problems.
not that precious, okay?
Bit anger management issues. Like, you deal with that, right? People with that problem. Okay.
Oh dear me. Julian, I'm going to pass them over
Yes,
to you.
she's like,
It's just too much
she's
for
like,
this
I don't want
morning.
them already.
I'll be on your couch. I'll bring a bottle of whiskey.
Oi!
Julian, bye!
Bye, Jerry!
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
That's funny.